Alright, now today we are going to pop this dent out of this motorcycle gas tank using the hair dryer and compressed air trick. This is a really good trick to use and it works pretty well, but it has limited applicability. First off, you need a tank that's a little bit older, like this KZ440 tank. It needs to be a little bit older because generally they're thinner than the material that they use to make tanks today, and it's only single walled. A lot of modern tanks have double walls, and so it can kind of be a little bit tricky to get this dent out. Also, it needs to be like on the flat side of the surface here, like this. You know, if you had it up around the neck or like up in here and stuff, it's going to be a little bit harder, and it might be more difficult to pop the dent out. Finally, you can't have creases. Like, I'll show you on my bike. This is my big old dent, and you see it's got sort of like a sharper angle here because of the impact that the previous owner gave upon this poor bike. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to use this trick on my bike. But this is going to be a nice, good candidate. So what we're going to do is basically, we're going to use this hair dryer to heat up this area here. And then we're going to take the compressed air can, hold it upside down so it expels a lot of the coolant, and we're going to cool down around the edge of this dent. And in theory, the theory is that this metal right here, around here, has been very slightly stretched. And so by heating it up and then really super cooling it really quick, we can get it to contract, and it should just pop the dent right out. You're going to want to have a nice empty gas tank so that the gas inside doesn't absorb any of the heat and the coolant. And yeah, just go for it. So I'm going to blast this thing with some heat for about a minute, and then I'm going to cool it down. So here we go. Cool. Look at all that science, kids. Let's do some more. Alright, I'm gonna let this defrost for a minute. Alright, well, as you can see, it's better, but not perfect. So now we're gonna try another method. Yeah, better, not perfect. So this other method is actually really simple. Because this is only a single line tank, I can just take a poker and go in here and poke it out. So I'm going to try and do that with this axle I have here, or a pry bar or something. Just try and reach in there and poke it out. Alright, well, that didn't work too good. This is a little tool that I made on the end of a very long screwdriver. I got some electrical tape here so it don't pierce the tank. But because of the angle of it, and because of this this hump here in the tank, I couldn't get down there, and I really don't want to bend my screwdriver because I use this thing all the time. So now we're going to go to plan C to get that final little piece of dent out. Plan C involves super glue and the butt end of a hammer. And what I'm going to do is basically just super glue the hammer onto here and then rip it off. A lot of guys like to use hot glue, which is also a good idea because that stuff can just be cleaned up with the hair dryer that you used for the first one. This stuff can be cleaned up with a little bit of you know, paint thinner or whatever, acetane, you know, whatever you got on hand to clean that stuff off with. But one danger with this is you might actually pull the paint right off your tank. So it's not too big of a deal for me because I'm going to be repainting this tank anyway. But just, you know, be forewarned about this. You might pull your paint off. So let's see how this one works. Alright, so as you can see, that worked pretty good too. We popped the dent out a little bit more. There's still a little bit of an indentation. We did leave some glue and such on here, but this tank's going to be sanded down anyway and repainted, so it doesn't really matter to me. But there's still a little indentation, so got to go on to the next plan, and that is to use an inflatable air bladder. Now, what type of air bladder should you use? Well, how about one which is used by millions of people all over the world, including nurses and paramedics. That is, of course, the blood pressure cuff. No need to steal this from your local EMS service. These are available for $8 on eBay. Simple blood pressure cuff. Alright, so I just jammed it on down in there. We're going to take this bike's blood pressure. Can you guys see that? It's like bending out ever so slowly. Oh. That's the noise. I had to coil it up in order to fit it in there, and that's the noise of it just uncoiling itself. What do you guys think? Looks pretty round to me. Oh, that was it. Popped out. Well, now all I gotta do is just clean up this tank and sand it down and paint it. Those are 4 methods you can use to pop out a dent in a tank. I bet if I had stuck with any one of those methods and just done it repeatedly, I could have popped that dent, just using one of those methods. But it's good to have a number of tricks in your toolbox, and you can use that blood pressure cuff over and over again for different tanks or whatever. As you can see, I have a lot of tanks that need mending. So if you guys have any questions, let me know.